Okay, USA Track and Field, Amp Sports Track and Field team. This is a virtual practice, snowstorm of 2026 version. It's good because I wanted to cover something extremely important related to competition, especially the competitions coming up for this indoor season. I always saw it, and then I would mention it, give pointers on it, etc. And for the most part, the energy from athletes is that it's a factor, but not that big of a factor. That the biggest factors are the technique, the form, if their conditioning is there, is there. You'll notice after events, if an athlete underperforms, they say, I need to be in better shape. I didn't do the technique right. I missed this. It's always on something physical. And if you know personality types, the majority of people just point to something physical as the reason why something works or doesn't work. It is not true. What I'm going to talk to you about today are two things, are arousal and adductors, the two A's. Adductors tying to the glutes. And the first topic of arousal. Okay, so in order to do this, I'm going to set this up where you can have a better understanding and a preface to it. With some stories. First of all, I noticed that in competition, and this is me included over the years, and with current athletes that I coach, an athlete will sprint a personal best or throw a personal best 2 weeks, 1 week, 3-4 days prior to the competition. Sometimes in the warm-up area before their event. Then they get in the blocks or in the throwing circle or on the throwing runway, and their performance will be way off, way underperforming once the competition hits. And, we say, yeah, you weren't warmed up enough, or you're a little tight, or blah, 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 these things. But I'm starting to see this is a particular science that adds up to something. In the college football championship, the Miami kicker, this guy has made all his field goals all season. Then he has a short field goal and he hits the upright. He doesn't make it. That would have tied the game with the overtime. It happened there. What's happening is the body getting in a state of over-arousal, and it's affecting the performance. So then I look and I think, okay, the athletes on the team, I'm going to say 90% of the athletes on our team, and this is unusual, are at base level confident people, smart. Most people on our team are executives for their job, own a business. We have PhDs, executives, entrepreneurs, people that are proven smart. When I ask about backgrounds, We have everything from valedictorians, people that got really good grades. For the most part, our team were the people in high school that were smart and did sports, or smart and very active. Most teams, the athletes are the people that did sports and got average grades and just kind of like, they're not really that smart. A lot may have struggled through school, but they're just very athletic. We are the smart athletic people. By and large, our team's the best looking. The head coaching staff by far is the best looking. And the athletes as well. So overall, we don't have a confidence problem in performance overall. So then I think, what's going on? Well, it's a physiological thing, not so much an innate lack of confidence thing. And so it made me go back and I think, okay, we just had, what happens is, I said, what's happening when you get in a competition and it feels like you're going in slow motion. So when you're doing it in practice, you know, you're just coming out the blocks, or you're getting at the start and you're running and you're just going fast. Then you get in competition, it feels like you're running through quicksand or molasses, or your throws are like just going so slow, like, why does it feel like I'm moving so slow? And even in the warm-ups, you're moving fast. Everything seems so like weighed down on you. And, you know, as example, when I think about it, when I ran track in high school, at one meet, this was for our league championship. And there was a guy, his last name was Mino, and he was the fastest in the league, in our league, etc. And so I ran the 2 and the 4, and so I was the one that was going to run the 400 finals against him. So my teammates are teasing me, saying, you're going to get blown out, whatever. That's what we did. So they're saying, you know, they're yelling his name, etc. And so I'm thinking, well, I have run a time close to his, so I'm not stressed about beating him, because I just need to make sure I keep up and don't get blown out. So it actually relaxed me. So I was like, just calm down. Don't get to thinking you're going to, you know, beat him. Just stay close. So because I was relaxed, I didn't tighten up at the start. You know, I came out, boom. I said, just stay close, stay close, stay close, stay close. Then I was staying close, and then we got to coming off the curve, and I noticed I was a little too close, where this could go in my favor. And then we came off the curve, and I noticed we came even. So now I'm thinking, well, my goal was just to stay close, just keep executing the way I've been doing, and push in the right form. I push, and I edge him out at the tape. There's a huge win, etc. Now we juxtapose that to, we go to regionals. Now we're against the big schools. Because I went to a private school, small private school. We're against the big public schools. And so the fastest guy in the state was a guy named Larry Brown for Dayton, and I was in his heat at the regionals. Now my teammates are really teasing me. Like, they're like, we're getting a seat for this one, because you're going to get your doors blown off, and we'll be there to see it, da da da. And they're going like, let her run, like they're cheering for him. And so I'm like, okay, now this is a thing where, unlike the Mino race, I may not be able to stay close. So now I'm feeling kind of tight. And then it's a full packed race against other guys that are fast. So I'm like, I can barely even think about the other guys that are fast because I'm thinking about Laren. So we get going, and I feel like I'm not even in my body. For about the first 80 meters, I felt like, well, what am I doing? I'm just kind of like floating, running amongst these people. I don't even know where I'm at. Mm-hmm. I can't feel my body in space. I can't even think, keep close. I'm just like, what's going on here? I'm running. My adrenaline was so high, I couldn't feel myself. About at 150 yards, I came to and realized that I was running. Then I could sense where I was at. And then I started just to feel a survival instinct, like just survive. And, came off the corner, surviving. And at that point I just said, I'm not coming in way behind. And I came in about 5th out of 8 to preserve some dignity. And I didn't even feel really any sense of control in that race. When I think about in the high jumps, I always say high jump is one of the most mental. I was a starting high jumper, so I normally jump 6 feet on my jumps. And so at some meets, one material they said, we're setting the bar at 5.5, just clear it so your team's in the meet, and then you'll start from there. So because this was a meet where we needed the high jump points, and I just had to clear the 5.5 to get us in, it got in my head that it was such a big deal that if I don't clear this opening height, which I've done a million times, then we lose all those points. So I go up and I run past it. Then I run past it. And I'm running past it because I'm psychologically think I can't get myself to jump because I'm psyched out about what it means. And so I'm like, what the? Then of course my co-jumper, because one other guy, 2 people start high jump. He's also a friend of mine. He was just like, what are you doing? That was causing more pressure. And so I was like, I feel like I can't even get my leg to jump. And so the referee was saying, you have 15 seconds or whatever. And so I went up there and just like crashed into the bar. I said I gotta get some feeling. So like I just jumped into the bar and knocked it down. Then I said, I got 2 more jumps to figure this out. It was just so hard. I started doing it again on the next one because it got in my head, because it meant so much. Then my teammate, he jumped over it and put more pressure on me. I'm like, what's wrong with me? I've done this before. I'm set to do well at this. I finally cleared it, and the bar was like shook a little bit. I was just relieved that I cleared it. And it was so stressful to go through that, which I never went through. You go to another event where there was a guy who was going to win it. He was jumping like 6'10" or something. Then I was like, well, he's jumping so high, I just want to get in the medal. And then I felt relaxed, and I was like jumping my height, normal height. I just went up and jumped. In football, I was feeling like so on edge, like if I drop the ball, the coach is gonna like not play me, can't drop one ball. can't miss one tackle, can't miss. So I wasn't starting because I'd be making some mistakes, whatever. And then one day, this coach, Coach Wolf, pissed me off. He had an attitude of a little too much disrespect. And then I was like, you know what? They're not going to start me anyway. So I might as well just kill people. And so every person he threw the ball to, my teammates, I tried to kill. I knocked one guy out. I just couldn't this and that. I didn't care. The next game I started. I did not care. The adrenaline calmed down. I think about the military. We were testing for live grenades. And the group before us, one of the guys held the grenade and he opened the grenade within his chest and he blew himself up. So they had to hold up the whole range, da-da-da. Then they told us, see, you have to listen, blah, 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 blah. And then, so people were kind of on edge. And I was like, this is serious. So when it came my turn, I got so calm, because it's so serious, I moved with such focus that I got expert, I got the highest, award for it, whatever, thing for it, pin. And it's because I made myself calm down so much to make sure I could see and throw the grenade. Other guys were panicking, they would just go, huh, and just throw it like this, throwing it anywhere because they let their adrenaline get the best of them. Similar thing in the Army with our shooting test to pass to get through training. They kept saying, if you don't hit all the targets, then you BOLA, which means you have to go through the basic training all over again because you can't not pass one thing. And so I was doing pretty good with the shooting in training. So these things are going so fast, targets popping up so fast and long away that I was thinking I had it in my head like, I'm not doing this whole thing over again, which is the wrong attitude to have. And thankfully, one of my drill sergeants, one of them, he saw in when we were practicing that I was like missing the targets. And then he knew, because I was a squad leader, so he knew I was like good at everything else, at everything. But he saw I was missing it, like, this might make me have to go through it again. And before I tested it, he came over to me and he kneeled down when I was in the foxhole thing, and he said, calm your shit down, soldier. He looked right at me, and then I was like, and that right there, I like, and then I got, sniper on that, got that whatever, because of the adrenaline calming. So the, when I was doing, going through airborne training where you jump out the planes, it's really hard, this and that. But clearly, it's one thing to see the red berets and the jump boots and want to get all that cool status with it. It's another thing when you get up in the plane and you think, what the fuck am I thinking? So then, in order to prepare for it and that fear, the thing that got me was we would always sing these songs about if I jump out the plane and if my emergency chute doesn't open wide and I come plowing through the ground, then don't feel bad for me, just bury me in the leaning rest like a push-up and tell everybody that's how I died, whatever. And it worked me up into feeling like it's cool to fucking die if your chute doesn't open. You're a badass. I mean, this is psychological. And so when I got up in the plane, that made me jump out because I just felt like, man, fuck this. I'll die a badass. And it made me calm my adrenaline down and get out. There's some people that they can't jump out and then go like, get out of line, you know, and then it's just horrible. But adrenaline got the best of them. What's gonna calm your adrenaline down so you can perform? I'm seeing this over the years. Well, we come to today, and when I did my first 60 meter in years, my time I ran in practice, I was like, okay, I'm getting better. And then we get to the meet, it's a regional meet, and I get in the blocks, and I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm here. It felt surreal. And I get in the blocks and I'm like, looking at everybody else getting in the blocks. And then it felt like, we're gonna shake your mark, get set, go. We don't give a shit if you're ready. Go. And then I like looked over at the other lane, which you're not supposed to do. That slowed me down. Then I started going, I'm in a race. I started running hard, etc. And because most stress is carried in the hip flexors and psoas. That's where the stress goes, which is going in the adductors. After the race, I was like, oh, I mean, I got bronze somehow. But after the race, I could barely walk. I had so many spasms in my adductors. It took me 3 hours at the hotel, just laying there, just to restore my ability to walk again. Not because of the weak muscle, because I had so much stress in there from so much adrenaline, not being prepared, not doing the prep right, blah, blah, blah. Just letting that adrenaline hit me, slowing me down, 100% all that. Because it didn't happen again once I figured it out. And I was ready. One of Brittany's first races, she did the 100, and she said she didn't realize she was in a race until about 80 meters. It went so fast. That's adrenaline. You don't know where you're at. And we had prepared for that. Melinda did a 60, and I just timed her at a fast time. Then when she did the race and I watched her film, I was like, what are you doing? And she was shocked. It looked like she was running in slow motion. She said she didn't even feel her legs because of all that adrenaline. Her time was so much slower. I threw javelin once, one of my early times throwing javelin. I fouled 3 straight times with the referee looking at me. She said, don't step out there. You have to walk back this way. I said, okay, the next time. I did it again. Then she looked and she was like, I told you. And again, she's looking at me. I'm like, I can't see you for some reason. There's too much adrenaline. When Melinda did a Miss Fitness show and her fitness routine, it looked like she was lifting her knees up in slow motion. She had so much adrenaline. Brittany did a powerlifting meet, and she was like by far the strongest there going in. She gets there after her first squat, And then she panics and says, I felt like I'm too small. It feels like it's just too big on me. I'm too small. Because she dieted her way down to her weight, blah, 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 just stressed. She got a hold of it and wanted the whole meet. But there was that moment where we had to like get her collected. We go to, we just had Rachel, another athlete on our team. Her starters are best thing, how she starts. One of her first 60 meters, I think it might have been her first. She has a bad start because the gun scared her. It triggered her. The sound, because the gun was a little bit louder than normal, so it scared her and messed her start up. That's all adrenaline. It put her in the fight or flight. Her adrenaline went off too high. We've had several happen on the throws. One when Rhonda, who ended up being number 1 in the country in weighted throw, one of her meets in weighted throw, she was by far the favorite one to win. Because of that, it made her tight, knowing that. And then she threw less than she normally does. Then when she learned to calm down, she started throwing further. When she's like, okay, I'm calm, I don't care. Then she started throwing further. Then she got number 1 in the country. Rachel just did it in the discus at a meet. Not the discus, the weighted throw. I've never seen her spin slower than her first throw. We knew it was adrenaline. It was that obvious. She's been spinning faster than ever, and then she got slow all of a sudden. The adrenaline just hits you. And so, if you, those are a lot of the examples. I'll say one other thing is, 2 other things. I recall when I was, one of my first martial arts tournaments, like when I was a teenager, and my father put me and my 2 brothers in a martial arts tournament. We went to a martial arts tournament. And I remember this guy from the Bronx, New York, martial arts or whatever. So I was intimidated. And the referee asked, he said, do you mind if you wear safety kicks? The pads around the feet. I was like, no, I do not. I'll take any padding possible by the time he kicks my face. And then I was like, so he put them on. And I remember all the training my sensei taught me. And I remember a kick coming at me. And it looked like it was coming at me so slow. And I couldn't move my arms to block it. It was like I just had to watch it like, whoa, hit me, and then react. So then I fast forward to about 15 years ago. I hooked up with the son of the martial arts instructor, who he's also a champion or whatever. And he said, hey, I'll train you again, do another martial arts meet. I said, I'll do it. So I did it, jump rope with the vest on, He trained me. And then he was like, listen, just focus on one move, block and slide. Just wait for them to kick, do this kick, block it, bang, slide in, hit. I was like, I'm just gonna focus there. Compared to when the first meet, I was calmer because I had that cue, and then I won it off just doing 1 or 2 moves. So I'm showing you the difference between over-aroused and arousal control and the outcomes in all these various things from personal experience and from some of the athletes' experiences. When it comes to speaking, I can speak in front of thousands of people, and speaking is like the number one fear people have, they said, and speaking in front of people. I remember I spoke in front of I was doing TV and I had this big speaking event, and it was like 3,500 people came to it. And so I was backstage getting ready to come out and had to use the restroom, and I forgot they put the mic on me ahead. Then I was like, oh, I gotta use the restroom. So I was back to use the restroom, it's like they could hear me peeing. And then they called my name out. I just walked out on stage. I thought it was funny. I just started talking. I didn't have any over arousal, like, oh, what are they gonna think? What? It's just not there. So then I can perform. So where is it at and where's it not at? I notice if I film some people, if the camera's just on and they're just talking, they're just like, yeah, well, no. Then they'll go, okay, let's film you. Immediately they go into getting uptight, thinking about what they're saying. Then it doesn't look authentic. So add this to the fact of, historically, I know a lot of us have gone through this, but I can say for myself, in sports, in the military, there was no such thing as taking prep serious. If I jump out of planes, we didn't prep our knees and our nervous system to hit the ground with that much force. We didn't prep ourselves before track, our nervous system itself. We just did some static stretches, shake our leg, and then we go. Same with football. You only get water if you earn it. If you drink it before you earn it, then you're weak. All these things. So that moves up here. And so then up until a couple years ago, I was doing that in USA Track and Field. I would just do, some stretches, some preps, little things here and there. Then I was like, let's roll. And then it was clearly affecting me in my performance. Wasn't doing as good. I was sore, getting injured, blah, blah, blah. And now I take all the prep the most serious. I'm taking this arousal control the most serious, because that's where it's at. So that kind of sets the stage for, I will say martial arts takes prep serious. Yeah. But the other things, no. So that sets the stage for what you 90% could go through in competition. I don't care if you're confident, you're fast, you can throw far, you did it before, you feel good right before the meet. Most athletes get there, and it's the arousal control issue. So let me set the stage. One could be the order of your events. So let's say you have the 60 meter here, and then they're rolling it. So they go, you have the long jump. So you have 30 minutes to get your long jump in, but the 60 meters starting too. So then you say, okay, I'm gonna go over here and get my long jump in, and now you're stressed out about getting the long jump in and not missing the 60 meter. Now that's more stress and threat. You didn't plan on that. So where's your preparation go? Do you prepare for the long jump? There's really no time to do your normal 40-minute prep before you do a 60 meter like practice. So you have to know, how do I prepare for this? Then, one side of the track may be limited to 30 meters of it. So you're not getting in any kind of jog around the track because events are going on. And the timing. So then that throws you off, and then you start panicking, you start feeling stressed, you're going doing your event like you normally are used to. You weren't prepared for it. If you're going from one event to the next because they're that close, you're like, oh. Like, so I've had people do their long jump, have to walk right over to the blocks of the 200 before they miss the race. So the scheduling is one thing that people don't get prepared for. The next thing is they're not prepared for how they feel based upon who they're running against. And then expect the other athletes and what they're making you feel. Once it hits live, tangible, live, and you feel the energy of people that are competing against you, your body can pick up threat. And you can start to get over aroused, start to try too hard, etc. There's like 15 other things that pop up. They move the location of a throw. They sped up the time when your 60 meters is going to start by 20 minutes. There's going to be a semifinal. So you got to run 2 of those sprints instead of 1 that you planned on. Things like that happen. And so you have to be prepared for it. So what happens is the nervous system. When the nervous system gets in that state of arousal, it goes into a protection mode. So it says, oh shit, we gotta protect you. And it freezes or goes into over control when the heat is on. When the stakes hit, it goes into like, okay, let's protect you. Let's over control these muscles to make sure you don't hurt yourself. You don't mess something up. We're threatened. We're tight. We have threats here. The stakes are high. Oh no. Don't lose. Oh no. This person's faster than you. Oh no. That translates, they might eat me. I might get hurt. All these cues come out in your biological brain. It's not weak, it's physiology. It's not mental weakness, it's physiology. The reason why you feel the feeling of slowing down is because it's adrenaline and threat perception. So your adrenaline builds up, you perceive a threat. The threat could be, I'm not ready. I just came from the long jump. The threat could be, oh my gosh, I didn't expect them to feel this fast. One of them does, a couple of them do their practice starts and they go, they drag that toe, going out fast, you're like, sure. I didn't know they looked that fast. And then now you perceive a threat and your adrenaline's up. And then it pushes you out of that sweet spot of performance you're normally in practice. Because in practice you're just like, whoo, you're not thinking about all that. So then you're like, whoo, you're relaxed, you're fast, you're smooth on the throw. You're just popping up, jumping. No problem. So when you get knocked out of that sweet spot, you go into 3 things. One of 3 things. Over arousal, freeze mode, or you go into conscious control instead of automatic skill. Now, couple notes. When it comes to arousal, and you get too much adrenaline, your sprinting becomes forced. Your throws become muscle, like, I'm gonna throw it. Becomes muscle, because you're tight. And you're in a state of over-arousal. When you freeze, your brain is reading that as danger. And this is when you say, I couldn't feel my body. Because your body is shutting your body down to go into protection as a safety response. And the performance drops massively, even though your warm-up looked great. Because when it hit, you froze, because it's like, oh, freeze. The other thing, when the cortisol goes up on over-arousal, that's when you feel like you're going in slow motion, because there's too much cortisol in your body and adrenaline. When you get into this conscious control, it is, in practice, you just do it. In the confidence, you go like, I got to try to do it. I got to try to do what I'm supposed to do. And so then you leave automatic skill out. You're not just being automatic and relaxed. So the solution isn't more aggression. It's arousal control, autopilot, and a repeatable script for your meet. So it has to be, you repeat a script you do before every event. You're going to be in automatic skill, and you can control the arousal. Now, so this is like, you have to be able to trigger your competition switch. Like it's time to put the switch on for competition. So we go through steps with this. So there's some steps. One is, you have to recognize your performance zone. Okay, so when do you feel, how do you feel when you perform best? You have to recognize it. You can't be lazy in this sport mentally. You have to be recognizing, how do I feel when I eat this? How do I feel when I do my best? How did I feel when I did it? You got to be present. You can't just be unpresent, going through the motion. So recognize your performance zone means, for instance, I'll use myself. When I perform the best, I feel light on my feet. I'll feel like, man, I feel light. Most of the time I feel some sort of heaviness because I'm sore from a weight training workout and plyos. I'm not fully recovered from a sprint or throws or jumps. Then I'm practicing anyway. And so I don't feel really fresh and light and bouncy. So my cue is, whoo, I'm feeling light. That's a performance zone thing for me. I don't feel my body, I feel all my energy in my body's going to the performance. It's not going to digesting some big meal. It's not going to overthinking something. Because I feel light, I just feel, oh yeah, okay. I'm feeling light here. Okay. Everyone has a performance zone cue when they're feeling. Brittany said she feels bouncy, springy. Okay. So people have their different things. You must recognize that. The reason you have to recognize that is because you're going to make sure that you feel that way in the competition moment. You're going to build everything for that feeling prior to it. So I got to lead everything to where I feel light and ready and fresh. The next step is downshifting. You have to do 30 to 60 second downshifting right before you do your event through the inhale, exhale protocol. Now it's just not just like one. We're talking 3 to 5 to 7 ritualistic inhale, exhales, slow. One of the best things to get control of that arousal is that type of breathing. I would say 80% of the athletes that I've seen do not do this, even after they're told. They'll do a little. Once it gets there, the adrenaline just starts taking over, and they just get like, oh, well, is it time? Is it time for us to get warmed up? Is it time? Okay. Then they just do some things. Then they go. Then they're like, you can see in their eyes they're not pressed. They're just like. I'm like, you didn't do that in practice. They're just doing it now. Then there's doing things, and then they go, okay. There's no method to the madness. Repeating every time. It's 3 to 7 inhale and exhales to calm the system down, to get control of the nervous system. Now, the exhale is the most crucial to calm the adrenaline down. The exhale part. That's why it has to be slow for like 4 to 5 seconds. And so you cycle that breathing right before you do your event. Then you have one physical release cue after the breathing. It might be hitting your thighs twice. It might be pound the first step. One thing. For me, like on a sprint, it's get up. Because I've had the bad habit of staying too low and almost feel like I'm stumbling because I'm thinking you're supposed to come out low, then it's too low instead of coming out at more of an angle. So when I say get up, it makes it come out at a more correct angle, leaning over, keep my head down. Some people say pound. You got to have one cue to give the brain. Because you have to get the brain something to do instead of just dwell on that moment of stress. Now there's a direction, so it calms it down. I know what I'm doing. One cue, not 5. And the breathing control. The third thing is you have to replace try hard with do this. So instead of try hard, you pound the first step. Instead of try hard, you say, keep your head down. It's a cue. Just a cue once you get going. One cue. Like I said, not many. Then the next step is you have to have a meet, warm up, ready, go script that you follow every time. in your warm-up ready go script, you don't want to do it and trigger panic mode. So a lot of times, let's say if you do a max throw in your warm-ups, you just put the body into that high stress panic mode because you made it go all out. Now it's in it. Now it's feeling, I went all out. Now it's in that heightened state of what you are in when you're going all out. And then you're going to go all out. That's too much arousal. That's like going all out before you go all out. Well, you just went all out. And so when you keep it at 85, 90%, you keep that from going all the way into that. Oh shit, I'm going all out, dealing with this threat moment that you got to get so much control over on the arousal part to not freeze. And it's repeatable. So I've gotten a lot of athletes down to where they have a repeatable routine before their practices. Then I'll see some of them depart from that at the meet. Because you have so much more time. You know, if your event doesn't start till 11 and you're nervous, so you get there at 8:30, and then you get to 8:30, then people start thinking, should I start warming up now? Well, you don't do this in practice. In practice, you start, if you're going to sprint at 11, you get there at 10, you do your routine, you do that. You're supposed to stay to it. Oh my gosh. No one, if their event's at 11, they get to the meet, I've yet to see someone sit there, get there at 8, and just sit there until 10. When it's time for them to get warmed up. They start going like, as soon as they get to the place, they start going. Doing something going, it's 8:30. What are you doing? Because the adrenaline's already starting. The arousal, over arousal is already kicking in. So, stick to your script. The next step is, in your training, train under pressure. So what this means is, and I've done this to a few athletes, but you train where you say, you have 3 throws. Not in practice, you go like, do it again. So you relax, you go like, I'll get it again. You go, you got 3 throws. Mm-hmm. I want to see your best one. All right. You have 130 meter sprint. That's it. Okay, you have 2 jumps. I want to see 2 jumps, then you're wrapped for the day. Mm-hmm. Now that puts you in, okay, now you're getting into training for that pressure. Another thing is, some people get a PR in their warm-up. Sorry, just especially on throws. They go, oh my gosh, in the warm-up, I threw far. So I should be easier for that far when I get up there. Well, what the warm-up PR does, or if you know your PR the few weeks before and you know it could win the meet, what that does is that can put the pressure on. Now just repeat that right now. Now you're in over-arousal again. Because you're getting over-aroused by, oh my gosh, I know I'm gonna win. I know I can do it. I'm gonna blast this PR away as soon as I get up there. You just put yourself in over-arousal, and what happens is you go into over-control trying to repeat it. So you go like, I'm gonna over-control and do that again. But you didn't do that when you did it the first time. You were calmed down and just an automatic skill. So that's why at a meet especially, you don't want to throw a PR in your warm up. You don't want to run a PR in the sprint warm ups or the jump warm ups. The way I've changed it, when we get the nationals in particular, I don't think I'm doing one full jump in the long jump or the triple jump during the practice. I'm probably going to do the run-throughs and then the 3-step pop-ups, and I'll just save the actual jump when it's time to go. So you just execute. The next step is use rhythm cues, rhythm anchors. What I mean by that is, let's say on a throw, you could say, always exhale before you take your first step on the spin. Always hit your thighs twice before you go down on your mark. A rhythm cue. Boom, boom, down. Spin. Like that. So it cues you. Give the brain something stable to do when the pressure hits. So you're working through a process. This individual, but you can't be lazy about feeling this stuff within yourself. So I go myself, there's a David Goggins short, and I'll play that. Sometimes I play it, in a headset. Sometimes I play it in my mind, where he says, when the destination is unknown, and you don't know when it's going to end, that's when you find out who the fuck you are. And it makes me just go, quit worrying about it being hard on a 400 or 200. I just go, when it gets hard, that's when I want it. It puts me in my mindset there so that my arousal system goes down, because it becomes about that instead of about, oh my gosh, what time did I get? I have done, this one coach told me, and I use this as like, let's say on the long jump or triple jump, when you're running down the approach, or if it's in a sprint, he said after the start, he tells himself, I gotta go. It's time to go. Like, that little period's over. I gotta go now. So then I find when I tell myself like, oh, I gotta go, then I start picking it up. That's another example of how you give the brain something to do. Time to go. One thing I tell myself, you have to talk to yourself. When I get down, I will feel a lot of tension, like when I get down to starting, then I'm like set, and that moment when it's time to go, when there's no gun or no one saying it, sometimes I take 10 seconds, sometimes I take 15 seconds, sometimes I take 5 seconds. It varies, because based upon how I'm feeling and when I'm ready to go. It's because I'm too over aroused. When I just tell myself, relax, motherfucker, then I can go. I gotta tell myself, relax. Just relax. Then it makes me feel. These cues are huge. Pound. I've told myself we're gonna go like, pound, pound. That's all I'm saying. One thing. It can't handle many things. So things you can do, even indoors, is you can get down like right inside and get down and go. You can get an app You can get it on a video, audio, on your mark, get set, go. And just get down and practice responding to that cue so you don't just take your time starting. So I have to do that. You go right to the mark, get set, go. Like, you don't go when you want to go. You go when that starter says go. Practice that to get your nervous system calmed down. Same with the throws. You practice with just a rope or just with a tennis ball, whatever. You just practice acting like your name is called, doing your routine, going in and going through the run through of it. So you get used to, like, you don't take 1 minute sometime, 30 seconds sometime, stop, get control of your nervous system with several breaths before you throw. Quit rushing, because you're just going to go into over arousal. Another thing is on the food. I'll say this first. Now, when you do multiple events, let's say you do a pentathlon, let's say you're just doing a lot of events. You're going from event to event to event. You have to learn how to reset right before the next event. Reset, you have to act like, you have to stop yourself, sit down, breathe, inhale, exhale, so you reset the entire system to do it. There's one athlete, her name's Dash. She does like 15 events. She's a super athlete from Australia. Most of the team knows her. And I watch her, and when she comes over to the next event, she'll sit down and close her eyes, and she's just resetting her nervous system. I watch her do it. Then she'll get up to do the next thing. Reset, reset, reset. Not run to it, go. Run to it, go. So this reset is even more important for multi events. On nutrition related to this, a lot of people confuse the purpose of carbs on competition day. Carbs are primarily for the brain. So the brain operates its nervous system right. It just needs topped off. It doesn't need overfed. Now, everyone's different. For me, getting most of my carbs the night before, so it's in my liver when I get up. Then when I go to the meat, my body's not focused on processing some big meal I'm eating that morning and attempting to get my nervous system under control, get blood to my muscles, and do all these things that are interfering with performance. I use the meat day carbs just to top it off. You eat exactly to the event. I need this much for the event, this much for the event. Fast type of carbs to fuel you through. And then watch caffeine, because caffeine can put you in more over-arousal state too. You're already aroused. You don't need it like your typical work day where you go, oh my gosh, I'm tired. Let me get some coffee before I go to work. You're not doing a meet where you're already in arousal. And the last thing on this is you have to be smart with the events at a meet, especially at a national, because there's multiple days. So let's say, for instance, you know you have a strong shot at medaling in a particular event. And this event, you look like you're gonna place. You might place 6th or 5th. You can actually say that event you have 3 or 6 attempts. You can say, I'm going to do one of my best attempts on this field event, and that's it. To preserve yourself for the next day event that you really can see, that you really can medal at. Like, there's strategy to that. And that's also part of controlling how fatigued your central nervous system is and your muscles are, etc. And I'll talk to you about that, but I'm just putting that in your head. That's also in this equation. It's all, how can I keep my body in the right state to perform high? So those are the steps. I would say, because I'm going to show on another training video, I'm going to show, do this exercise, do this, and we know that, like, this to get your hip flexor stronger, this, this, that. But then I'm noticing, like, people are ready, and then they underperform. It's this. I think we're ready. We're just going to make sure this doesn't get in the way of the performance coming up, especially those nationals. So that's it for the virtual practice. Watch this, take it in, take notes, implement it into your training, and especially into competition time. Till next time, I'll see you.